Good morning to you.
Hey, looky, what do we have here? I don't know, probably the best morning show ever hit the atmosphere. Let's be clear, there's plenty others that do it B.I.G., but keeping it a buck though, none to get you up though like GMG. With all the news and real point of views you can use, light and heavy topics we peruse, even a laugh or two. What you talking? Good morning, gang, be the instrument and take your friends and them, Ken and all, come on in, tune in. You ain't gonna want them in state, and even the trolls and haters that hate us, we end up being their favorite. Cause from 8 to 10, we get it in, believe that. I mean, from where else could you go when you were part of the show? Definitely GMG, cause when you show love, we show love back. First thing in the morning, we get you through, so after the yawning, wash up and wipe your face, get your snacks and come on in, get comfy, but most importantly, in all caps, doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Hey, good morning to ye. Good morning to ye. Good morning to ye. Hey, I know y'all like feel what you got going on. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, about 8 a.m. out the west. You feel me? What you got going on? You came here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, this is a special edition of the Good Morning Gang Morning Show, brought to you by myself and that good GMG, Good Morning Gang. Listen, how y'all feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Y'all know what I like to say. You better feel blessed and highly favored. Why? Because you are here amongst the living, able to inhale, exhale, open your eyes and take it all in. Use your limbs and extremities. Use your vocal cords. Do things. Pause. No diddy. You know what I'm saying? Blessed because you're here because there's some that weren't so blessed to see today. So if I was you, and I know what Imma do. Imma make the day the best day ever. And while I'm at it, Imma plan, plot, and strategize so that if I'm so blessed to see mañana, tomorrow, the next day, then Imma make it an even better day than today. That part, huh? Whom? I say whom? Who we got in the building? Who we got in this building this day? We got Polo Dolo riding solo from the Kansas City way. What's upper? Crack baby, trick baby, crack baby. Hey, hey, Lady Costanita. G and G to the death of we. Peep Ski, Wagwan, brethren, huh? LG Vaughn TV shows is in the building. Tiffany. Hey, hey, I see you. I see you. Gino Diva checking in from the good West Side, the gay area, huh? Miss Yulina Spider. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Said they listening in. Glad you are. I'm glad you did. Tap in if you want to. Red face. Whoa, what's goody like the mob? Fadeaway beats. What do we have here? Probably the best morning show that ever hit the atmosphere. Let's be clear. There's plenty others that do it BIG, but keep it in the buck though. None to get you up though. Like GMG, huh? J Lady Lane, I see ye. Good morning to ye. Good morning to ye. Creole is in the building. Good morning to ye. Good morning. Listen. Hey, Chris Pow Pow 293 is in the place to be. Wagwan, huh? Tanina, good morning to ye. Good morning to ye. Listen, tell everybody to come on out, to come on in. Tell them to come on out the shadows and speak up and say, hi, how you doing? Because I know you in here. All the haters, the naysayers, the detractors, and the bullshitterers. I know y'all watching. Hey, how you doing? Listen, it's the Good Morning Gang Morning Show. Marquise 56. What's goody like the mob, huh? Yes, indeed. Listen, I got my libation, got some little sour sop herbal tea. I'm talking some herbal tea. The bag still is there. Got my water on deck. Got this topic on deck. But before I get into anything and go any further, I got to do this. I got to give this warning. Can I get this warning? Too bad. I'm gonna give it anything. Huh? Warning, warning, warning. Federal Law Title 17 USC Section 7107 allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted material under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. Fair use allows for the quoting of copyrighted materials and the creation of a new work for purposes including but not limited to criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. Fair use preserves the free flow of culture. Listen up, baby. We in here. We are in here. Ladies and gentlemen, sincere salute. This salute, Brother Momos. Also always on deck with chicken wings. Shout out to DMV forever. That part right there. You know what I'm saying? This is going to always be the DMV. Glow Boy Z, what's good? Like the mob. Come on over to the good YouTube, huh? Ali Cash, y'all come on over, huh? Listen, today we got a special topic that is polarizing the internet streets, polarizing news feeds, polarizing the minds of those that have heard about it, listened to it, watched a couple of the videos involving it. We talking about none other than Rodney Hinton Jr. Rodney Hinton Jr. And before I go into who Rodney Hinton Jr. is, please do your boy a favor. Y'all know I want to menage with the algorithm, right? So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for your boy. While you at it, if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. If you're over here on the from the illustrious Facebook, Twitch, or X, formerly known as Twitters, come on over and do that for your boy. But third and most importantly, after you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, something like this. Beep. So you be in the know whenever the Good Morning Gang morning show drop. Whenever Feel the Love Fridays drop, which is tonight. Or anything else that I put on this good Big Phil Speaks channel. You be amongst the first to know. You dig me? Listen, I'm just a good old boy from uptown DC, represent DC to the fullest and know how to turn tens to a dollar. You feel me? So we gonna go on a journey. Make sure you got your coffee, your tea, your tree, whatever need, and then strap in your seatbelt. This one right here, I said this one right here is gonna be a journey. Listen, Rodney Hinton Jr. Rodney Hinton Jr. Rashard Houston, the home team. What's up with it? Goody, what's goody like the mob? Y'all share this out with 1 to 7 of your good peoples, 1 to 7 of your good weeples, homegirls, boo boo bun things, whatever. You feel me? Tell them Big Phil speaks his own, huh? Like I never left. Listen, Rodney Hinton Jr., the father of a young man named Ryan Hinton that was unalived by a Cincinnati police officer 18-year-old young dude that was unalive, I think he was 18, unalived by a Cincinnati police officer after viewing footage of what took place and how he was unalived, got in his car and left. Things are sketchy as to motive, as to state of mind, as to intent, but there's a sheriff's deputy that was, or retired sheriff's deputy, that was conducting, traffic that got hit by Mr. Hinton and subsequently got unalived themselves, and it's been a controversial thing ever since. You hear me? Space Boy Z, what's goody like the mob? Everything is everything. Feel your president is calling DC District of America. Man, I don't give a damn what he call it. It's DC. Jazzy Stutters, what's good, huh? Listen, Imma read to y'all the timeline, and then I got a bunch of videos for y'all to see, but Imma read to y'all. Hey, Alfred, come on over to the YouTube, why don't you? And Imma play a few videos. What the hell just happened? Okay. This is the timeline as I know it, as we know it, as it's been reported coming out of Cincinnati. This is a yet unnamed Cincinnati. This was posted May 6th. This is posted May 6th and updated May 8th, 2025 through WCPO Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Yeah, yet unnamed Cincinnati police officer fatally shot 18-year-old Ryan Hinton the morning of May 1st. The following day, Ryan's father allegedly crashed a car into former Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson, unaliving him. Since then, social media posts have circulated that contain misinformation about the case, so they say, like claims that Rodney Hinton Jr. Unalived the officer who unalived Ryan. Well, we know that definitely was not true. Henderson was a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy, while the still unnamed officer who shot and unalived Ryan was an officer with the Cincinnati Police Department. WCPO has requested and is still waiting to receive Ryan Hinton's full autopsy report, additional body camera footage from CPD, and traffic camera footage from the crash that unalived Henderson. Here's everything we know and don't know about the events that led up to the deaths of Ryan Hinton and Larry Henderson. Thursday, May 1st, 2025, shortly before 10 a.m., a Cincinnati police officer fired multiple shots, two of which hit and unalived 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Roughly around about 10 a.m., Cincinnati Police Department Lieutenant Jonathan Cunningham sent out messages to media about the shooting. CPD police involved in the shooting near the 2500 block of Warsaw Avenue. Please respond to the media staging area at 3201 Warsaw Avenue, Old Police District 3 for updates. Again, this incident is still unfolding in an active incident. Please respond to the media staging area. Thank you. WCPO sent multiple crews to East Price Hill, where police were still actively searching the area. Shortly after 11 a.m., Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Thiepgay, hopefully I'm saying that right, hold a press conference in the parking lot at the media staging area. During the press conference, Thiepgay said a CPD officer had shot and unalived one person during a foot pursuit. Thiepgay said officers with the department's fugitive apprehension squad, along with other uniformed officers, became aware of a stolen vehicle at an apartment complex on Warsaw. Police when police approached the vehicle, four people ran from it, PK said. She said at least one of them was armed with a gun. Police chased the people who ran from the vehicle, and PK said one CPD officer discharged their weapon toward the person who had a gun, hitting and unaliving him. PK also said two of the other alleged suspects in the vehicle were arrested and one remained at large. Arrested that day were 19-year-old DeAnthony Bullocks and 19-year-old Jarrell Austin. Both are charged with receiving stolen property and obstructing official business. Roughly around 7 p.m., Cincinnati police sent a press release to media saying would hold a press conference the following day at 11 a.m. to discuss more about the case. Friday, May the 2nd, 2025, shortly after 9:30 a.m., Ryan's family, including his father, Rodney Hinton Jr., viewed the body camera footage of a Cincinnati officer shooting and unaliving the ATO. Michael Wright, one of the family's attorneys, said they spent about an hour and a half in Chief office. What we saw was the spring, said Wright, who was retained by Ryan's family to investigate the shooting. Roughly 9:50 a.m., according to prosecutors, Rodney Hinton Jr. left the police station after watching the video. During an interview with radio host Lincoln Ware on his show on 12:30 a.m., the Buzz TK confirmed Rodney Hinton Jr. walked out while viewing the footage. At 10:37 a.m., Rodney left the police station with other family members and left his vehicle in the parking lot of the police station. From there, Hamilton County prosecutor Kanye Pillage said the family went to Findlay Market for food, though Rodney wouldn't eat, according to Pillage. The family all went to a home together where Rodney took a nap. Just after 11 a.m., Figay held a press conference with media showing clips of body camera footage from the shooting that unalived Ryan. The body camera footage was blurry and short. Just 6 seconds elapsed between the suspects jumped from the vehicle and when the officer fired at Ryan. Clips and still images from the officer body cameras show the people who were in the car scattered when the police pulled in and trapped the suspected stolen vehicle with their cruisers. Ryan tripped or slipped and fell briefly on a concrete pad near two dumpsters. A still picture from a body cam footage appeared to show. Deep Gate said officers saw Ryan carrying a gun. Officers interviewed as part of his investigation into the shooting said they heard the metal of the gun hit the ground when he fell. Ryan got up and ran between the two dumpsters. An officer was already on the other side of the dumpsters with a gun draw footage showed. Gate said another officer involved in the chase alerted the officer who fired his gun that Ryan was armed. The officer who fired the shots can be heard saying gun before multiple gunshots ring out. As shots are being fired, Ryan appears to run to a short chain link fence and fall forward over it. Pete Gay said officials believe the officer fired roughly 4 to 5 rounds. Ryan was hit by two of those bullets. Pete Gay said he was hit once in the chest with the bullet exiting his back and once in the arm, but the bullet went through his arm and into his side. Now I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to understand that it's being reported that he was shot in the back, not the chest. But we'll get to that later or whatever. Feet Gate said there is no indication that Ryan fired his gun at all during the encounter. Police did recover a handgun with an extended magazine near Ryan. A second magazine was found in his sweatshirt pocket, according to Thiegate. Thiegate admitted during the press conference that the body camera footage is quick and difficult to see clearly because of the blurriness. The individual is running with a firearm in his hand, and the officer is running, so the body camera is jolting, and what that leaves us with is a very blurred image, unfortunately, said Thiegate. Thiegate said the officer who fired the shots said that when Ryan came through the dumpsters, the gun in his hand was pointed at the officer. The chief said the officer said he felt he was in danger. We do not expect the officers to wait until they're fired upon, said Thiegate. The afternoon of Friday, May 2nd, around 12:50 p.m., according to prosecutors, Rodney Hinton Jr. returned to the police station and was seen leaving the parking lot. Just after 1 p.m., WCPO's news desk began hearing police scanner traffic indicating an officer was down near the University of Cincinnati. We dispatched crews to Clifton to learn more information about what was happening. Just before 1:30 p.m., Lieutenant Cunningham Center filed a media traffic crash at 100 MLK Drive. Media staging Bishop at MLK Drive. Please stand by for updates. At roughly 1:50 p.m., Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police President Ken Colbert confirmed to WCPO that a sheriff's deputy was working a traffic detail at the intersection was hit in the crash, but he had no word on how the deputy was doing. Minutes later, a spokesperson with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office sent a message to media confirming that the same information. I can confirm that a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy was involved in a tragic accident in Clifton a short time ago. We are on scene, and I will send more information once we have it available. I appreciate your patience. At roughly 2:50 p.m., the Cincinnati Police Department, which WCPO later learned was the investigative agency for the crash, sent out a press release. CPD's crash unit is on scene of a single motor vehicle excuse me, crashed at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive and Burnett Woods. As the single vehicle entered the intersection, struck a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy who was outside of his vehicle operating the traffic light at the intersection. The Hamilton County Sheriff deputy was transported to the University Hospital and listed in critical condition. The driver of the single vehicle was transported to University Hospital and listed in critical condition. Press release from our traffic unit will be forthcoming this evening. No further information at this time. Now, at around 5 p.m., Cincinnati police sent out the PowerPoint presentation from Friday morning's press conference. That presentation contained the unedited 6 seconds of body camera footage shown in the morning. At 5:30 p.m., Seagate hosted a press conference alongside Hamilton. What the hell? Alongside Hamilton. God damn, keep jumping around. Alongside. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. Alongside Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey. The police chief announced that the deputy had died, though she did not identify him. Figay also said the driver of the vehicle was the father of the person shot by a CPT officer the day before on Thursday, May 1st. At that point, officials had not released Ryan Hinton's identity. That was not made public until around 7 p.m. Friday evening. Around 8 p.m., Cincinnati police sent out a press release announcing the arrest of 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. That release said Rodney was the driver of the vehicle involved in the crash, and the police had charged him with aggravated murder. Saturday, May 3rd at 9 a.m., Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court for his first arraignment. He did not appear severely injured, and he walked into the courtroom without help. At the hearing, dozens of law enforcement officers lined the walls of the courtroom. The prosecution said in court that it is believed that Rodney, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff. Excuse me. The judge ordered that Rodney will be held without bail in the Clermont County Jail until his bond hearing set for Tuesday. Just after 1 p.m., Cincinnati police announced they had arrested the fourth person who ran from the alleged stolen vehicle Thursday morning. Police said 18-year-old Sincere Grigsby was also charged with receiving stolen good and felony obstruction of official business. Sunday, May 4th, around 5:30 p.m., WCPO received an announcement that identified the deputy who was killed. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office said the deputy was Larry Henderson, who had retired in December after 33 years of service. The announcement included a statement from Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey. In Deputy Henderson's early tenure as a sheriff's deputy, I recognized his talent for teaching and presentation. Larry began his journey as a sheriff's office trainer early in his career. He developed an expertise and became an excellent trainer. Subsequently, he trained divisions of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office that included hundreds of deputy sheriffs. His ability to relate to and touch officers' lives was extraordinary. We will continue to honor Larry's life of service. Monday, May 5th. I know this has been long, and I know you're like, whoo, I'm almost done. Monday, May 5th at 3 p.m., the Cochran Group and Ryan's family spoke at a press conference. The firm was hired by the Hinton family to investigate Ryan's death further. During the press conference, attorneys and family echoed that desire. On Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the shooting with Ryan. Wright said, we stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. Wright pointed out that Cincinnati police only showed the body camera footage of one officer, the one who fired the shots that unalived Ryan. He said his office has requested to see all body camera footage from that morning and the public records that could help them analyze what happened. WCPO 9 has also requested the body cam footage. We believe that this incident should be investigated, said Wright. It is not cut and dry as this officer should have. Listen, it's not as cut and dry as this officer should have pulled out his gun and shot Ryan, and it's not that cut and dry. Ryan's grandmother, Tanya Larkin, said she doesn't believe the shooting should have happened. I can't even express how I feel right now about it. I'm angry because it should have never happened, said Larkin. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken in the protocol. And if everything comes out that it's not what it should have been, we need to do something about change and training and diversity and understanding us as a black culture. Larkin called Ryan a sweet, gentle giant who always had time for his siblings and often spent time playing video games with them. She said he made it a point to play with every child in the family, teaching them very different games and including them. The Hinton family declined to answer any questions about Henderson or Hinton Jr., but they did offer their condolences and prayers to the Henderson family. Ryan's grandfather, Rodney Hinton Sr., even said he'd been praying for the Cincinnati officer who shot his grandson. He said when he watched the body cam footage, he saw two people who were just scared. I seen two scared people, said Ryan's grandfather, Rodney Hinton Sr. I seen the officer scared and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened, but that's all I seen. I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons that made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake in being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. Whew. Wright said there's plenty of healing that needs to happen all around. He urged people to give the investigation time. He said they don't know what next steps will be, but he said it's possible it could be filing a lawsuit. Wright said they are working to get all the information they can before making any determinations. The Citizen Complaint Authority is also investigating the shooting. Around 8 p.m., the Hamilton County Sheriff Office announced details for Henderson's visitation and funeral arrangement. I ain't getting into all that. On Tuesday, May 5th, around 9 a.m., Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court again Tuesday morning for a hearing about his bond. He was again surrounded by dozens of law enforcement officers who showed up in support of Henderson. In the gallery, family and friends of Rodney were also present. Court was paused briefly after an outburst from the gallery that resulted in one person being escorted from the courtroom. I just want to see my brother, a person could be heard yelling. Cincinnati Police Department homicide detective Carl Beebe testified he believed Rodney appeared agitated before the crash. Beebe also said in court that Henderson was launched several feet in the air during the crash. Prosecutors said in court that the states believe Rodney ran over the first officer he saw. The judge ordered Rodney continue to be held in Claremont County Jail without bond. Outside the courthouse, protesters gathered in support for Ryan and Rodney. The name of the Cincinnati police officer who shot and unalive Ryan Hinton still hasn't been released. As of the publication of this article on Tuesday, May 5th, the Cincinnati Police Department has not released the name of the officer who shot Ryan Hinton. Gay has declined to identify any of the officers who were seen on May 1st, including the officer who fired shots, citing Marsy's Law. Marsy's Law is intended to protect victims of crime. Victims of crime. Ohio voters approved Marsy's Law as a state constitutional amendment in 2017, according to the Ohio Constitution. It guarantees victims of certain crimes rights, including to be treated with fairness and respect for the victim's safety, dignity, and privacy. Upon request, to reasonable and timely notice of all public proceedings involving the criminal offense or delinquent act against the victim, and to be present at all such proceedings, to be heard in any public proceeding involving release, plea, sentencing, disposition, or parole, or in any public proceeding in which a right of the victim is implicated, to reasonable protection from the accused or any person acting on behalf of the accused, upon request, to reasonable notice of any release or escape of the accused, except in certain cases, to refuse an interview, deposition, or other discovery made by the accused or any person acting on behalf of others, to full and timely restitution from the person who committed the criminal offense or delinquent act against the victim, to proceedings free from unreasonable delay and a prompt conclusion of the case. Upon request to confer with the attorney for the government, to be informed in writing of all rights enumerated in this section. The law further defines a victim as a person against whom a criminal offense or delinquent act is committed, or who is directly and approximately harmed by the commission of the act and offense. To make that make sense, the officers on the scene are now the victims. The officers on the scene of where Ryan was unalive, they are the victims, so they're protected by Marcy's law. Make that make sense. WCO pulled documents on CPD's policies and protocols regarding an officer firing a gun during an encounter with suspects. Police officers may not use deadly force merely to prevent escape in misdemeanor cases, reads the policy. The use of deadly force to prevent escape of felony suspects is constitutionally unreasonable, except where the escape presents an immediate risk of death or serious physical harm to another. Where the suspect poses no immediate threat of death or serious physical harm to others, the harm resulting from failing to apprehend him does not justify the use of deadly force to do so. If an officer uses unnecessary and/or excessive force and or acts wantonly and maliciously, he could be found guilty of assault, even of culpable homicide. If he kills a person he is attempting to arrest. That's it. Finally, that's it. Thank you for bearing with me in the long reading. Thank you for bearing with me with the long reading. Let me go back up here and acknowledge some people before I go forward. Hey, Keisha Hall, you can have yourself a ball if the message is already in order. Take a deep breath and read the comments. You sound muffled. It's hard to truly understand how I sound muffled. 20 bandana. Whoa. Who else is in here? They killed his son and he lost it when he saw the deputy. I don't think it was planned. Bree in the place to be. It was a crime of passion. He was not in his right mind. DC Mumbo Sauce. What's up, Frank Murphy? Creole said, sounds like an eye for an eye. Bree, this was horrible. He snapped. The vehicle was a leased vehicle and the owner missed the payment, so the car company reported it stolen. I was gonna get to that, J Lady Lane. I was gonna get to that. Lonzo BCD, salute. Charlie Hustle. Good morning, good morning. I think I'm caught up. I got some video and footage to play y'all, but what J Lady Lane said it seems to ring true. Allegedly, hold on, let me put my allegedlys up here. Let me put my allegedlys up here. I forgot to put it up here. Allegedly, the car that was so-called reported stolen was the whoever's car it was behind a month's payment on it, and the owner or the dealership reported it stolen, which is illegal. Which is illegal, by the way. So it's going to be a thing of whether or not they really had probable cause to be there and deal with the car in the first place. The owner of the car or the dealership might face charges themselves for filing a false report, because the fact that whichever one of them young men was driving that car, if he was a month behind on payment, if he was 2 months behind on the payment, that's a civil offense. That's a civil action. That's a civil matter, not a criminal one. Not a criminal one. Listen, then there has been reports allegedly that there was a gun found, but it was found nowhere near Ryan Hinton's body. One. Two, allegedly, they say that he was hit in the back in the arm, not in the chest, in the arm, as was reported by the police chief or whatever the case may be. We got to wait for the autopsy to come out to further get into that or whatever the case may be. Let me get back to the comments. Hold on, let me erase these people. This is my thing, right? I want to start playing these videos. I want to start playing these videos. The first one is shows a little bit of the police conference in regards to the unaliving of young Ryan or whatever the case may be. I want y'all to pay attention to this. It's very short, whatever the case may be. We It's gonna be some subsequent videos, or whatever, but I want y'all to bear with me. And then we're gonna talk a taste. We're gonna talk a taste.
Condos Thursday morning. Cincinnati officers tracked down a stolen vehicle.
As you know, we had a critical incident yesterday.
Four people get out and start running. In body cam footage released today, in just 6 seconds, police say 18-year-old Ryan Hinton aims his gun at officers. Police shoot and kill him. Today on MLK Drive, a deputy is working traffic control for UC graduation when a driver crashes into him.
There is a connection between these two incidents. The driver of today's vehicle that struck a deputy has a family relationship with the 18-year-old that we shot yesterday.
Chief, is the person who hit the deputy the father of the person who was shot yesterday?
Yes.
Ryan Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton, is charged with aggravated murder in the deputy's death. He was taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Hours later, the Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy dies. The CPD Homicide Unit investigating both the death of the deputy killed today and the death of the 18-year-old shot by police.
I can assure you, as the chief of police for Cincinnati, I will ensure you transparency and a thorough and accurate investigation.
You're right, Lenny. Lenny Lives, and he said one bad cop doesn't speak for all cops. Right, but when they show force to stand up for bullshit, then what does that say about the so-called good cops? There needs to be a line drawn in the sand, and good cops need to stand on one side, and maybe not so good cops stand on the other. Now, with this situation, I don't know. I don't know. It ain't clear yet as to how malicious this officer's intent was. If they're coming together to lie and say that he had a gun on his person and not wherever it really fell, or if he had a gun at all, then that's a problem because that's lying, right? But I can't go from there. The lease is a binding contract. Mispayment does not give grounds for report vehicle stolen. They can repossess the vehicle, but not state that it was stolen. Indeed. And how do I know? Because I went through it some years back. And it was a whole lot of underhanded stuff going on, and the police threatened me at first, and then they turned around and threatened the dealership owner for putting in a false report. But of course, they didn't charge him because he was their complexion, and yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move forward. Here's another video that talks about a little bit about the unaliving.
So y'all remember all the people coming in and said, "Oh, he pointed a gun at the officer." Well, there's a clear picture of why his dad done what he done and why his dad was so pissed off. As you can see, his son running by the garbage can. He is not turned around. That's when he got shot in the back 4 times, killing him. That man is not pointing a gun at the police. He is not threatening. He is trying to run away. He's trying to flee. Whether he done something wrong to be in a position is up debate, however the situation be. But I did hear the car wasn't stolen. In fact, payments was missed on it. Then it was reported by a car lot. Actually, and that's how that happened. Not sure if that's the real truth. That's allegedly. But I do know the body cam was released and it showed that the young man was running away. Now all of a sudden, now they're saying the body cam is blurry. They can't really tell what's going on. And all of a sudden it's blurry. All of a sudden now they have discrepancies. It's all messed up now. But as you can see, he's running away. So for all the people to say, "Oh, he was pointing a gun at him," do you see a gun? Do you see him pointing at that officer? Why was that young man shot in the back and gunned down like that then? This is why Rodney Hinton was unhinged, because he watched his son be murdered, his innocent, and lied about. It'd be different if he pointed the gun and they unalive, they killed him or whatever. But the fact that they told him a complete lie first, and then he saw the cam and seen that his son was shot down, gunned down, and no remorse, that's what set that man off. That's what broke his mental. He seen his child done wrong, his baby done wrong. It is what it is. I don't care how y'all feel about it. Y'all say he was a criminal, he should have done this and that. He was gunned down. I've seen white people run at cops with fucking a knife or a gun, and you know what they tell them, put it down. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. Versus a black man running away and they shoot you in the back. That's the difference of our color and our lives. We can run away from a threat and be killed and called a threat. You can be the threat, go towards in a threatening way, and be safe. That's the fucking difference.
Now, before I play any of the other videos or whatever the case may be, this I'm gonna give y'all a heads up, a warning. This whole situation can be triggering for parties on either side of this situation. Whether you are on the side of the young man that was unalive, Ryan Hinton, and his dad, or just Ryan Hinton, or you feel sympathy for Rodney Hinton Jr. for what subsequently happened, or if you're on the other side of the table and you are either pro law enforcement or you only feel sympathetic for the officer who lost his life or whatever the case may be. This is going to be triggering for everybody. But these are conversations we need to have or whatever the case may be, right? I need y'all to think about what this young man said about the video footage. I didn't play the video of his unalive, and I'm not going to do that. But there's still shot that he had does not show that boy pointing a gun at the officer. Now, mind you, the officer that shot and unalived Ryan Hinton is the video footage you see. You do not see him pointing no gun towards him, nor running towards him, only away from him. And that's probably the reason why they have not released the footage from the other officers' body cams, because they'll show other angles and either show that indeed Ryan had a pistol on him, a gun on him, and or he didn't, or whether he was pointing the gun towards the officer that shot him or wasn't. So if they're trying to hide something by not releasing the footage, or I don't know what else to tell you, because if it was that cut and dry, and that young man was pointing the gun at the officer, I would almost bet they would have released every officer's uh, camera footage, body cam footage that was on the scene. I can almost guarantee that. And they say that image right there is blurry. I think that imagery right there is very clear. Very clear. You see the young boy Ryan Hinton running away from. Now, some of you all say, well, if they weren't breaking the law, then this would have never happened. Possibly, right? But here's the gotcha. If the allegation is true that the automobile lot owner called the police and called that stolen, even though they are under a lease contract or a finance contract, and whoever owned that or whoever was driving that vehicle or had possession of that vehicle was just behind on payments, that is fraud. That is a malicious act. That's where the criminality and the crime exists. And if that be true, if that allegation be true, those police had no right or reason to be dealing with them young men that day in the first place. Proper investigation before they went after that vehicle could have sorted all that out before this even happened, which possibly or could have saved that young man Ryan Hinton's life. One, did he have a pistol or not? Hey, Sierra Bay, I'm over on the good YouTube for the morning show. Did he or did he not have a pistol? That's another conversation. That's another conversation. And if he was guilty of unlawfully possessing a weapon, if he was not threatening the officers and running away from the officers, whether he dropped the gun, threw the gun, had it on his person, or whatever the case may be, if he did not make menacing gestures towards any of those officers and he's running away from them, that officer has no effing excuse to do what he did. And I get it. The old man hitting the grandfather. He's just trying to be a good old grandpa. I'm praying for both sides. It was mistake with both of them. And notice what he said. He didn't say that it was a mistake on both sides. The mistake of his grandson doing anything wrong. He said the mistake was his grandson being there. Grandpa even said my grandson's mistake was being there in the first place. And then he said the second mistake was the officer being scared. They were both scared. How many more times will that be utilized as an excuse? Oh, the officer was scared. How many more times would that be an excuse? Oh, suspect or individual had a gun in cases where there was no gun or the gun wasn't on him. Three, how many more times will it be the case that this suspect had a gun and he pointed at me and never pointed at him? Allegedly, allegedly. How many more times? Angelo Mo repo should have taken place by a finance company. That's a fact. That's a fact. Stolen is when you take something without permission. Missing the payment is just that sad situation. That's a fact. Jalen, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. That's a fact. What's up, hot shot? It's time for change with these police by any means necessary because marching ain't getting it. Listen, listen, low key with it. What's goody like the mob? Understand something, right? We're living in a day and age where the president of the United States, if he hasn't done so yet, and I believe he did, is by executive order put into law that the actions of police officers make them exempt from prosecution or will make them exempt from prosecution. What recourse do we have then as United States citizens? What recourse do we have as United States citizens if and when we or our loved ones are violated, abused, beat on, shot, hurt, maimed, hit by police vehicles, et cetera, or unalived by heinous, thoughtless, careless, and or premeditated or bigoted or racist actions? What recourse do we have as United States citizens? And some would say, if you would just comply, we've seen cases where people attempt to comply and get shot. We've seen cases where people ain't did nothing and got shot. We've seen cases where the police should have never been involved or had interaction with the person and they've gotten locked up, beat up on, arrested, shot, unalived, etc. There's a multitude of cases. How many more times are we to accept these things and it be okay? Especially when you push a man or woman up against the wall so many times, it's only going to be but so many times, proverbially, before they come out swinging. I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for violence or anything of that nature. But what I'm saying is, what do you do? Now, this I'm a tug at the heart of every man and every woman that sees this. What would you do if that was your son? What would you do if allegedly you see the video of your son running away from police in a day and age where, as a black male, young or old, you must be fearful of your life, unfortunately, by those that are tasked and paid and commissioned to protect and serve you as well as the community. What would you do, regardless of color, regardless of where you live, regardless of any networking or relationship you may have with law enforcement or not? What would you do if that was your son? how would you react? Would you be in a right state of mind? No matter if it was a day later, would you let it lie? Would you be able to be okay with police just taking your loved one's life, knowing ain't nothing really gonna be done about it? What could you do? What would you do? That's a heavy pill to swallow. That's a heavy pill to swallow. If there are certain individuals and certain people that would say, "Ah, he's a monster. Why? How could he do this? How could he do it?" But they ain't got no smoke for an officer shooting either an unarmed man or a man running away from, not towards, not menacing, not threatening, away from said officer that shoots him, armed or unarmed. We could argue, well, why he had a gun, if he had a gun. We could argue was he up to no good or he was up to no good. We can argue all those things, but the thing that seems to be prevalent, allegedly, we'll know later on, is that this boy was running away from the officer, not pointing a gun at the officer, as was put out. Because you know the police, they back up. The fraternal order of police, they back up the police to either sweep it under the rug or clean up their face, so to speak. He was directing a traffic signal or something, Angelo Mo. People to say, well, if he didn't do nothing, he should have just stayed. He should have just complied. Or he should have just how you know that he still wouldn't got dealt with? And somebody I seen somebody earlier said the Cincinnati Police Department allegedly has a bad reputation as is. Allegedly. I'm not from Cincinnati. I don't know. J Lady Lane says no one knows what a person is capable of in those given situations. That's why there are vigilantes, serial, et cetera, et cetera. That's a fact. Where is it at? And before I go any further with the other videos or whatever, let's not, hey, sexy sugar mama, hey, let's not forget about what just went across the wire. Tyree Nichols beat by these five heinous, monstrous Bammers. And they were all just acquitted. They were all just acquitted. I don't know if y'all recall or remember seeing the video footage of how they beat this dude senselessly. Senselessly. I hope the feds pick that case up though, because in the state case they were acquitted. How, Sway? And if I recall it properly, what the main guy in the situation did him dirty because he found out the old boy was sleeping with his ex or his current girlfriend, which is motive. So make it make sense. How many more times are we to deal with the bullshit? Yes, if somebody dead to right guilty of some dumb shit or whatever the case may be, and they get caught up, so be it, right? Do the crime, do the time, whatever, stay 10 toes, stay down with the code, all that, right? But what about if you didn't do this or you didn't do that? What if you what if that young boy just wanted to get away because he feared for his life? Maybe those officers that pulled up on that scene have a notoriety for doing certain things to people they encounter. Who knows? Who knows? How many more times do we just lay down? How many times do we just sit down? How many times do we just march? How many times will the neighborhood just allow it to happen? The community allow it to happen. I don't care if you're in the hood or in suburbia. How many times do we allow it to happen with no recourse? Then, if there is some retribution doled out, whether it be vigilante style, whether it be lawsuit, whether it be through protest, marching, rioting, revolting, whatever the case may be, for people to look at the people on that side of things as monsters, look at people on that side of things as stupid, or look at people on that side like they've lost their mind, but got no smoke for these officers doing fucked up shit. Excuse my English. And and I've seen people talk about Rodney Hinton as if he's an animal or whatever the case may be, but some of these same people are applauding that Luigi Bama who plotted, planned, and ran up on that insurance company CEO and unalived him. And they lightweight calling that man a hero. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I've seen I've seen tweets from same individuals that lauded Luigi as a hero, called Rodney Hinton Jr. a monster. Someone say, well, yeah, Phil, he is a monster because he hit this man, da da da, da, and it wasn't a man that shot his. Okay, cool. That would make Luigi just as much of a monster because that man, that CEO, though he worked for a company or maybe sanctioned certain cutbacks or whatever the case may be, did not personally kill or unalive anybody. What's fair is fair. If you're gonna feel one way about it one way, you need to feel one way about it the other way. The difference is the skin tone involved in both. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Creel says, sad to say it's been happening for many, many years and will continue to happen with nothing or little being done about it. Unfortunately, Bree said this is a new form of lynching. It's sad. Then you got people mad at how he put his chin up directly in them officers' face as he was brought into court in either a form of defiance or a form that says, I'm here. I did that. Y'all killed my son. And y'all don't give two shits about it. Some people say, oh, that's arrogance. He should have never did that. Why not? They get arrogant all the time. They feel untouchable all the time. Especially if you got a president that's gonna put them in a position to be like the Gestapo with no recourse for any wrongdoing. What do you do? Hey, Sibley May. Hey, Notorious. What the hell do you do? Y'all know the video I'm talking about. If y'all don't, here it go right here. Some people say he shouldn't act like that. He shouldn't be like that. He should be remorseful. When the hell do they say that to the police agency and or the officers that work for that agency? Why they shouldn't be remorseful? Why is it that an agency, not necessarily in this case, but maybe necessarily in this case, but in certain other cases, go above and beyond the means to cover up either corruption, wrongdoing, mistakes, however you look at it. Make it make sense. Then you have officers that really want to see the betterment of a neighborhood or a community, but they stand in solidarity and or in quietness when bullshit happens, which defeats the purpose of the goal in which they are trying to achieve. And I'm not just talking about a black officer, I'm talking about a white officer, could be an Asian officer, could be a Latino or Hispanic officer, or whatever the case may be. If you stand in solidarity with an asshole that's either racist or evil or vile, or you stand in quietness around what they've done, then you just as effed up as they are. The same way that y'all will charge somebody with an accessory or some other things if they don't open their mouth. What's up, Basky? What's up, Basky? That's the fact they rep them hard. Simply they say it would have made more sense if that cop actually had anything to do with it, but wasn't he a retired cop or something? I get his rage and everything, but come on. Come on. You're a mother or a father. Your child is unalive. You see the body cam footage. You see that they lying about what took place allegedly in the unaliving of your baby boy, or your son, your child. What do you do? Are you in your right state of mind? Do you see somebody in uniform and maybe you blank out, black out, or just get enraged? Do you start to feel or think eye for an eye? Do you start to feel like enough is enough? Do you say F it because listen, I got a president that's exonerating these Bammers and making them above the law that they are tasked and paid and sworn in to uphold? What do you do, Nate? I know it's a hard question to fathom. Hey, talk to me nice. It's a hard thing to fathom either way. But maybe if more officers thought about those things, what if this was my child? What if this was my son? What if this was my daughter? Regardless of color, then would I handle that person differently? Then would I give grace and or mercy to that person because this could be my child acting the hell out. And if you think, for instance, that just because somebody is from an inner city or hood-like area, that it doesn't affect suburbia and little white kids don't be acting the hell out. There's plenty of videos of white teenagers and white adults bucking at the police and doing a whole lot more than we would or do and don't receive the same treatment. Hey, Yoli. Hey, hey. How you know me said, is the cop he killed the one who unalived his son? He should be in prison then. Any one of y'all that fight in a war, any one of y'all that fight in a war, because this is a war. If no matter how you look at it, it's like city under siege. It's the U.S. under siege. The hood under siege. It's black under siege. If you think about it, black and brown people under siege. If you fight in any war and you have to use your weapon against any combatant across the what you call it, if they did not shoot nobody, then does that make you guilty of a certain crime? Of course not, because it's sanctioned, right? See, I get it. Hey, what's up, Kimmy now? that's the thing, right? Some would say, "What's up, Big Bell? I'm on the YouTube." Some would say, he wasn't the officer that did the thing. He shouldn't have bothered him." But again, and I'm not listen to me well. I'm not condoning, sanctioning anything from either side, but I need for y'all to think about it. I need for y'all to think about it. If you were that child's parent, mother or father, and it happened to yours and the circumstances are BS, straight up and down, what would you do? What would be your mentality? Where would your mental state be? Would you act irrational? Would you be fully sane? Would you be able to contain that rage, hurt, anger, sadness, bitterness? Would you? Before y'all cast judgments on Rodney Hinton Jr. be saying he hit the wrong person. If they hiding the person's name that did it, he probably ain't gonna find out till maybe well later, if he finds out at all. Since they are saying, per what I read, that now the officers that were on the scene of the shooting are all being viewed as victims, so their identities are being withheld. How the hell are they victims when their officer, Cincinnati police officer, shot and killed that young boy? What part of that makes them a victim? When you hear that, and your child is in at a morgue or in a box or in a casket or something like that, understand something. How would you feel about it? And I'm not trying to rile nobody up. I'm not trying to make you see what I see or feel like I feel or feel what Rodney or feel like what the police feel. I want you to think about how you would feel in the circumstances that took place. Given the information that's released thus far, how would you feel if that was your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, hell, your grandparent, or your loved one, your boo boo bunting, your wife, your husband? How would you feel? Would you be in the right state of mind? Would you be able to just hold that thing in? A lot of people would. A lot of people wouldn't do nothing. But then there's some that can't. Hell, there's some that don't wrap too tight already. So something like that happens to them. It's like a linchpin being pulled out of a grenade, and they set the blow. Full Tube said all cops are co-conspirators in a corrupt organization that shields their own from legal justice while oppressing the community. That's just like a cop unaliving somebody for mistaken identity happens all the time. Hey, the frog. Hey, the frog. Mumble Sauce said, "Nobody knows that, Phil. How would you?" There's currently a situation in Florida where cops unalived a white man and lied, said he was on fentanyl and had a seizure. Autopsy proved he was unalived by strangulation. Color may not always be it, but it happens to us one time too many, Keisha Hall. You're right. Color is not always it, but it happens to us one time too damn many. One time too many. Hey, y'all come on over to the YouTube. And the fact it's a difference. It's the difference between an officer being scared or frightened or acting in the moment and not really processing certain things, and it be a mistake and accountability by way of a public response as it being a mistake, than to possibly try to cover it up. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. It's a big ass difference. Good thing that didn't happen in Chicago. Why would it make a difference in Chicago, J Lady Lane? Everybody's saying that at least $20. That's yeah, they got the Cochran firm, King Me now. They got the Cochran firm representing the family. Now I think they talking about seeking the death penalty for Rodney Hinton Jr. Allegedly. Allegedly. Hey, King me now. I That's a fact too. They do have rubber bullets in their arsenal that could be used. Everything does not have to be deadly. Talk about it. Talk about it. They have multiple ways to detain, to to disarm, to de-escalate a situation and or combatant or criminal. But it seems all too more likely that they go to the lethal force, and a lot of times the reasoning or the timing or the situation don't even call for it. Don't even call for it. What I would like to hear is that the owner of that car dealership get charged with murder, murder one, because he premeditated, he was calculated in calling the police saying that a car was stolen in the first place. If the claim of the late payment is true, if it's true that one of those occupants leased or financed that car from a dealership, a used car dealership, or whatever the case may be, and he reported that car stolen, he needed to be brought up on murder charges because indeed it's his fault that everything else took place. Because it's because of his actions that the police were on the scene from the giddy up. I feel bad all around, but when you feel you have nothing to live for, your loved one is gone, and you don't feel anymore. You don't care what happened. Man, shit like this happens, right? But the only leverage we have is people we don't use. 2 to 4 years they hold elections, sheriff, mayor, governor, etc. We don't use it to get 'em. Now, hey, Frank Murphy, you're absolutely right, homie. You're absolutely right. Unfortunately. These next couple videos that I wanna play are what happened in the galley and outside the courtroom involving his brother and allegedly a family member from the deceased sheriff's deputy. Allegedly. Some of y'all have probably seen it by now, some of y'all probably haven't or whatever. The second video might bring it out your eye. It's a tearjerker. You're forewarned. The second video is a tearjerker. Just hearing his brother break like that, you are forewarned. I'm gonna play this first one, then I'm gonna go into the second. Michelangelo, TKBS Nation. Y'all watch this, please.
Mr. Bennett, at the prior
Amazing.
hearing before today. Have a seat, man. Have a seat. Have a seat. Sit down.
Man, hell.
Wait, bro.
Sit down! He's out of line! Under the color of law! He's out of line! Acting under the color of law! Acting under the color of law!
Hold on, let me stop that. I think the second part of that video is from something else that happened. Something else took place in that courtroom too. There was another fight, and I think the second part of that in that clip was that. But I'm gonna show you the second half. I'm giving you a heads up. It's a tearjerker. It's a tearjerker. You heard it here first.
Open my phone. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all cool. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me. My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before.
That's the way to do it.
They did it before. I got a video of them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just want my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. That's my family. That's my family in that door.
Okay, come on.
Ray, please. Doing all that. Man, see me one-on-one, man. Now that boy motherfucker there on my brother, man.
Now, meal on that one. Momo Saw said, y'all be careful, stay prayed up. Fact. Meal on that. Your brother's locked up for unaliving an officer. Your nephew is unalived by an officer. According to his words, him and the brother who did hit the officer have been victims of either police brutality or some kind of not so positive interaction. What do you do? What do you do? Right, Bree Bree. I just want to see my brother. That is deep. Michelangelo? Hmm. Something is going to happen again because of the way those officers are treating the family. They are grieving. Keep your hands to yourself. Allegedly, the sheriff that when he stood up and knocked on him, what you call it, that put his hands on him and told him to sit down. Allegedly, they're saying that he's allegedly the family member to the sheriff deputy that got unalived in the situation. Allegedly, we don't know one way or the other. But yeah, exactly. Sexy sugar mama. He said they did something to them before. That's what I'm saying. So you don't know what somebody has been through or what they have faced. You don't know what maybe has transpired with that family and law enforcement in the past. You don't know what they are holding in. Some would say that's still not an excuse, Phil. That's still not an excuse. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just merely reporting on the situation, and I just want everybody, whether you're pro what Rodney Hinton did or anti what he did, whether you're pro the law enforcement stands anti, I just want everybody to think about what they would have done, how they would have felt in the situation. That's what it was, sexy sugar mama. He just wanted his brother because you see all that law enforcement inside the courtroom on the other side of the glass and in the seating area. He just wanted his brother to know that his family was there with him. That's it. That's it. This is where a GoFundMe is warranted. His family should put one up and get a huge bag like that white lady getting from calling that black kid. Yeah, and that girl found out how where who backed that it was called Gift and Go or something, who backs that or who's a cash processor in that situation and contacted them, and I believe they either halted that account or whatever the case may be. Speaking of which, I'm not here to say rise up. I'm not here to say stand down. I'm not here to say comply. I'm not here to say run. I'm not here to say anything other than how would you feel if that was your son? And you got to sit in the room and the police chief and or higher ups are giving you bullshit while only letting you while only letting you view the footage that they want you to see, while denying you footage of all the other officers on the scene. Possible police force that you've had past interactions, run-ins with that might not have went so well. What would you do? How would you feel? Right, they filled that courtroom with officers, but did not allow the family in. Ain't that about a BI? Ain't that about a BI? I pray that one day we see the end of things like this happening. I pray that one day we stop seeing the excuses, the unacceptable excuses. I pray that we see the day that these bad apples are removed from the bunch. I pray to see the day that police go back to the type of policing they did when I was younger and before me, to whereas they cared a lot more about the community and its people than just a paycheck or exacting some kind of superiority over certain people. I pray to see the day that people started to give more of a shit about each other as human beings over this color of the skin, over how much money you got or money you don't got. I pray to see the day that we just have more empathy and sympathy and compassion for each other, seeing ourselves in other people and acting and reacting as if how we would want to in these situations. If it was us on the other side of it, or our loved ones on the other side of it. Some would say, "Aha, that's what the officer get." Some would say, "Aha, that's what the man get." Some would say, "I don't give two shits about it because it ain't my family, it don't affect me," but it doing it well. It doing it well. There's another video, but I don't feel like playing it, but, it definitely talks about, the one of the black officers in there that led him in or whatever, and the power or the how can I put it? The symbolism of her doing that and what that means for the police department and what it means for him in a way. in a positive light. I pray that all the evidence is forthcoming. I hope that BS is not pushed under the table. I hope that justice be served righteously. I pray that there's peace that covers the whole situation, which I don't see happen for a long time coming. It seems like a powder keg set to combust, a pot boiling, ready to boil over, that could lead to more than just that family in the police department, but Cincinnati itself and other areas. I know some of y'all be like, "Man, Phil, this is not what I tuned into the morning show to see," even though it's at 11 a started at 11 AM. But sometimes we gotta face things like this. Don't matter if you're a father, mother, don't matter if you're black, brown, yellow, green, white, don't matter if you're law enforcement or part of the judicial system or whatever the case may be or not. Don't matter if you're a hardened criminal or L7 square. These are the conversations that we need to have. These are the things that affect us all in a day like 2025. We all have to be mindful that though it has not visited you in your home, on your block, in your neighborhood as of yet, does not mean that it can't, won't, or never will. And if you walk around feeling no sympathy, empathy for any of it, don't you come looking for it when it meets you at your door. The officer said he heard a gun drop, not even seen or right, right, Nate, right. If they heard supposedly the metal of the gun hitting the ground, how it's still in his hand like that? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because if you fall to the ground and you drop your pistol, you trying to get away from the police, you ain't gonna sit there and scrounge to grab no gun. You ain't gonna scrounge to grab no gun, and if it was in his hand like that, he might have accidentally pulled the trigger given what they said took place. Some shit just don't make sense. Some things just don't make sense. And that make it even worse because they play us like we stupid, or we can't use reasoning or rational thinking or common sense to certain things. I just pray that you keep your loved ones close, those that you consider your loved ones, family, friends, etc. I pray that those that are parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, extended family, or whatever the case may be, help to guide these youth out here lost. I pray that those that may be from law enforcement or in some kind of judicial capacity speak to their fellow colleagues, family members, friends, etc., and to impart in them to either seek training, seek counseling, or see the community a different way. What happened to the other people that ran? 2 people were arrested on the scene, and 1 got away and was arrested later on, Angelo Mo. Angelo Mo. Again, I pray that also those law enforcement individuals see some kind of light, see us other than criminals, see us other than monsters, see us other than scourges, see us other than enemies, see us as their sons, see us as their daughters, see us as their nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, etc. Close family member, extended or distant family member, lover, spouse. See us more than a target. Really. CL, what's good, my brother? He allegedly says, so I read somewhere that he wasn't even driving. An eyewitness said there was a female driving that car that hit that officer, and Rodney was in the passenger seat. He just taking the blame for it. Oh, that would be something. That would be something. There's gonna be all kind of allegations. There's gonna be all kinds of whispers. There's gonna be all kinds of rumors. There's gonna be all kinds of things being said one way or the other. Man, I'm not gonna stay up here long. This is a heavy topic, a heavy situation. Hopefully, you take some of this back into your homes amongst your family and friends and have this conversation. Maybe some of your coworkers. Find out what they really think and how they really feel about you and yours or theirs, and, get to know people. You don't have to be at odds, but just listen and register. File it in your mental Rolodex. Oh, that's how you feel, or that's how you think. No matter which of the table you sit on. That's a fact, sexy sugar mama. That would be interesting to hear what they have to say too, Angelo Mo. That would be interesting to hear what they gotta say too. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, even though this has been a heavy conversation, I want for you to smile through the rest of your day and the rest of this weekend and into next week. Why? Because you never know what it might do for somebody, including yourself. More importantly, love on somebody on purpose, with purpose. Last but not least, I'm not anti you. I'm pro me with the emphasis on building we. Let that marinate in your melon. Till the next time we could chop it up and have a tay. Till that day, I'll holler. Mm.
We're one big happy family. We're GMG. One big happy family. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you come back again. Tell a friend, tell a friend. It's GMG and Big Phil Speech. Yeah.
Y'all be blessed. Angelo Mo, happy birthday to your daughter. Salute. Oh, happy belated birthday to our own Rich. Salute. I'm out.